Welcome to today's show in our series on health. Today we're going to be talking to somebody who has faced some rather remarkable challenges when it comes to health. For someone who was a volunteer firefighter, a very healthy young woman with a very healthy child, ended up with 2 children who definitely would not fit the classical definition of healthy, born with all kinds of challenges, and essentially what Shannon ended up doing was becoming a pioneer. I have to look at her and think of her as a pioneer in the world of children's health. I would like you to meet Shannon Desormeaux, who is a neighbor of ours in Bourget, in our little community, who has had an experience that I wouldn't wish on anybody really. But if it had to fall on somebody's shoulders, I'm glad it was Shannon, because this is one remarkable lady who has simply not given up when even the healthcare system threw its hands up, saying, I don't know what to do. Shannon, thank you for spending some time with us.
Thank you.
For moving your children out of the way so that we could have a free discussion. You have one very healthy child, Melody.
Yes. That's okay.
And then a few years later, you had Tanner.
I did.
And
yes.
Theo, and then your whole world turned upside down.
It changed drastically. Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about what you know most about right now, which is, besides love, unconditional love, endless love, is allergies.
Allergies, yeah. It's been absolutely life-changing. It's not the typical allergies that many of us are familiar with, and the extent of the allergies is also nothing that many people are familiar with as well. Both of my children have life-threatening allergies to soy, dairy, and my youngest recently was also diagnosed with allergies to olive nuts, all seeds, wheat, cats, dogs, everything, you name it. He's been diagnosed with that. I think the biggest struggle...
And your youngest being 5 months old.
5 months old, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest allergy and life-threatening situation that we're in comes down to the soy and the dairy. The soy being number one, simply because it's everywhere. It's everywhere, and it's not a simple allergy where if they touch it, they have a reaction. It's actually airborne. And most people don't even understand what soy is in or what contains soy. They think that it's in food, and that's the extent to it. Our 2-year-old has actually been denied going into a public daycare or the school system until we can get her allergies regulated, mm-hmm. until they're not as severe. And my youngest will definitely not be allowed to go into daycare or school either, simply because soy is in everything around us. It's in school glues, it's in crayons, it's in construction paper. PVC plastic contains soy as a binding ingredient. You go outside and all of the soy fields around us are just in the air. Foods such as corn, I mean, every few years they switch the cornfields with the soy fields. Something as simple as even free-range chickens. They're free-range and they're eating healthy grass, but it's most likely that the soil that they're eating the grass from has some sort of contamination with soy. So even the most healthy organic foods contain soy at some level. My kids couldn't even go to a park. We had Theo at a park for my daughter's birthday actually last week, and he had a reaction at the park. My 2-year-old just started being able to go to the park without reactions, and that's if we stay for a short period of time and we really, regulate her or control her outdoor exposure. People coming in to my home, if they have something like bug spray on, if they have something like hand cream, sunscreen, that's airborne, and my children will react.
How did you discover this allergy? You had no experience of it with yourself, Melody? So what was your first sign that something was terribly wrong? What was the first scary moment?
It took us a really long time to pinpoint what was going on, simply because at that age it's really hard for allergy testing to come back as a positive test or even accurate. The accuracy at that age is not very good. It took us a lot of trial and error, and honestly it was mummy gut, because we got told on several occasions.
Mummy gut, I like that.
Mummy gut, yeah. We got told on so many occasions that this just isn't possible. Soy allergies are not airborne. Things such as plastic they shouldn't be reacting to. Maybe it's something else. It was just really trial and error. We literally lived in a bubble. We couldn't have anybody over. We couldn't have anybody visiting whatsoever. We missed a lot of family dinners. We missed outings. I would take my children to, an outing or the family center, for example, and they would react. So it was literally just picking apart every single thing that we went through or touched or was exposed to throughout that day. And at the end of the day, we realized that soy was the issue. And through continuous allergy testings, of course, that was a huge determination that they both, but at that time Tanner had soy allergies, and it was just us as parents who figured out how detrimental the allergy actually was to her, regardless of what everyone was telling us.
So the first visible signs were skin problems or difficulty breathing?
It was definitely skin problems.
Yeah.
As a newborn, they don't really do too much, and someone would come over and she would react immediately. She isn't Tanner. Just being around her or in the house, she would break out. She would have hives. She'd have really bad eczema. Her skin, I remember on her baptism, she was red as a tomato from head to toe. There was not 1 ounce of white on her skin. And this is just from airborne exposure. She started getting a lot of different sores all over her body because the exposure was just becoming too much. She started struggling to breathe at one point, not struggling to breathe where she wasn't breathing, just you could hear it in her chest. It was off. It was a little bit different. And they tried pinpointing asthma for a long time. Mm-hmm. Turns out she doesn't have asthma at all. And
that would have been easy to rule out probably by cutting out dairy, which is the traditional way, I suppose, with small children. Problem feeding a child that can't have dairy.
The dairy wasn't so bad. Although the dairy is more life-threatening with my youngest son, the soy is harder to avoid. So dairy is quite easy to avoid, but soy is not. Simple things such as vitamin E, natural vitamin E, contains soy. Soy is not...
Just because of how it's grown?
Because of how it's
grown. Or
grown.
how it's made into the vitamin tablets?
Both.
So
soya
no
is
getting
not,
away from it.
There's no getting away from it. Soya is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, we use it as fillers in food and preservatives, but it's grown naturally in fields. It's not...
So it's not the issue of the fertilizer that some people say, okay, get an organically grown soya and then you'll be fine. No, that's not it. It's
because organic
soya.
That's right. Soya is organic, right? It's grown outside. So there's no escaping it. There's no escape.
So what do you do? What do you do? How do you feed these children? 5 months old and 2 years old now, and they're happy, joyful children. They haven't a clue of what's going on with them. To them, this is normal.
Yeah, this is very normal.
But to you, it's anything but.
Yes, absolutely.
You are really that woman out there in the woods alone, not sure of what's around you, of what's going to hurt you, what's going to hit you and the kids, and trying to defend them from the undefendable.
Everything.
Life
in general, everything.
All right. So what kinds of barriers have you put up? What kinds of safeguards?
It's been really hard and really unfortunate. We've lost a lot of communication with the world. We don't have a social life whatsoever. We cannot take the kids anywhere. We have no safe place that we can take them. Our visitors coming in the home are none. We don't have visitors. And I do have this this one friend who comes over actually, and it started as a joke where she'd come, she put a towel around her and literally came with a towel and underwear and bra. You know, it was a joke. But my kids didn't react to her, and it became reality. This is obviously not showing up at my door naked, but this is the reality that it's become. No matter how hard somebody tries and how hard they try and keep themselves soy free, it's literally in everything. There was about, I'd say, 6 months where we didn't leave the house, and if I had to leave, Dad stayed behind. If Dad had to leave, Mom stayed behind. We didn't go to any family get-togethers together. It was one or the other. One would stay back with the kids. They missed a lot of different birthday parties, holidays. We usually spend alone here, or we try and get out to a restaurant and usually have to rush out because they're reacting.
So how do you keep yourself from contaminating the children? You wash, wear clothes?
We all have to use the same stuff. So we have found a soap that works, and we use that throughout the entire house. I use a baby soap that washes my clothes, it washes my floors, it washes my walls, it washes my bathroom.
Which baby soap is this? I know we're not supposed to advertise, but this is not a matter of advertising. This is a matter of essential information.
It's the oh my gosh, Ivory Snow. Sorry,
Ivory Snow.
Drawing a blank.
Okay.
Ivory Snow.
Ivory Snow
and it's strange because it's perfumey, but for some reason there's no reaction. It has been very gentle. It is a newborn soap, and I think the go-to for the majority of families and babies. So maybe that's why, but that's what I literally have to clean my entire house with is baby soap. Dish soap, we can only use one kind. Tanner was in daycare at one point so that I could work to get some hours to take mat leave with Theodore, and we had to send her own dishes washed because she'd react to dish soap. I can't use creams, I can't use anything that's unnatural, that has GMOs, that has any type of fillers, hormones. Everything has to be 100% natural and certified organic, because there's a very big difference between organic and certified organic. Our food, for example, has to be from a greenhouse. Especially our meat has to be from somewhere where they can certify the food and certify the fact that there's no soy. So organic chickens that are free ranged, those are organic, but they're still exposed to soy. So the vegetables, the fruits, and the meat that we have need to, unfortunately, be grown in a greenhouse, or the animals, unfortunately, have to be very...
So you couldn't even grow your own because any fertilizer or soil you might use might contain soya.
That's correct. I can't even have a garden in my backyard because it's contaminated.
And you live in a rural area, so there is an issue of soya possibly being in the air.
Yes.
And you never know which day the wind is going to be blowing in the wrong direction for you. All right, well, when I talk about you as a pioneer woman, I'm not joking, and I am going to bring that point up again and again, because there are far too many people out there who complain about the weather, who complain about the roads. None of these are life-threatening. None of these are real challenges. And I think the measure of a person is how they deal with their challenges, the real ones. And for that reason, we're talking to you. And for that reason, I am a little bit in awe of you, Shannon.
Thank you.
I must admit. We're going to take a break now, and we're going to come back and talk about some of the solutions that you found to these intractable problems. Stay tuned. So welcome back, everybody. We are now going to talk about, again, the solutions that Shannon has come across. And we've talked about the solutions for cleaning, which are rather revolutionary. Imagine one product that cleans everything.
Yes.
This takes me back to the olden days when they used lye soap for everything.
It's much more simple.
Much more simple.
Very simple. It makes shopping easy.
And of course, then the tremendously big issue is, how do you nourish yourself and how do you nourish your children?
It's tough.
Yep.
I have done an extensive amount of research of foods. I now appreciate the value of organic food, fresh food, well-grown food. And a big one for us is foods that don't contain any hormones, antibiotics, GMOs. Local is always better because there's more of a guarantee that they are free from all of this stuff. And it definitely comes with a price tag, unfortunately. It's been life-altering to feed us. And then right down to the formula for my son, we were spending anywhere between $1,400 and $1,600 a month for the formula because it has to be specialized for no allergy. So that has been that's been crazy. And then of course everything is cooked from scratch. So nothing frozen, nothing prepackaged. Literally, I'm in the kitchen slaving day in and day out if I want to have a full week's worth of healthy cooked food for our family. Even something as simple as broccoli from Walmart comes in that bag. It's fresh, but it comes in that bag, and that's now contaminated. So it's quite the chore to eat here at home.
But you do it.
We do it, yes.
And you could use some help. And you went exploring for some help, for some products.
We did.
Okay.
We went exploring. We're still in search of a local farm who we can get our meats from. That's been a little bit challenging. We had a wonderful company before, however, they weren't local, and we did find that there was a little bit of reaction there. So we're going to focus a little bit more on local. So we're focusing on that. We have a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits, and a lot of meat. So unfortunately, there's no vegan in our family. And it's been extra hard to get those fats in. I know, especially speaking for my younger guys, the fats are so important. The formula that my little guy's on, he's 5 months, and it has the natural MCT oils, the amino acids. So the most important part of nourishing a baby is the brain fats that enable them to grow. So that has been extremely challenging for our 2-year-old. She drinks a lot of natural MCT oils, avocados. We saw a lot of nutritionists, both at CHEO and the health unit. And as unfortunate as it is, the majority of the time when we go in there, we're more well-versed than they are with our situation. So the help is very limited. We definitely had to take our own approach. We kind of stumbled on something that was interesting, something that's been around for generations, but has hit the, I guess, community a little hard over the last year and a half. The ketogenic lifestyle is all about fats. And I know it's a new fad that's going on. Most people look at it as a weight loss program. But the ketogenic lifestyle is just that. It's a lifestyle change, and that has been our go-to for our whole entire family. For those who don't know, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the ketogenic.
I'm not, and I suspect that most of the people watching are not, so tell us about it.
Okay. It's a very high fat diet, natural fats, low carb, medium protein. So all of those healthy fats, your body, basically, essentially what happens is you want to put your body into ketosis. What ketosis is we're actually born in a state of ketosis. And it's when our bodies take the fat and use that for fuel. So they burn the fat for fuel, for energy, and your cognitive abilities, your brain functions, your just overall performance, head to toe, is optimal in this state. As the years go on, we train our body, we retrain our body to burn glucose. So we put those carbs in our diet, those sugars, those unnatural products into our diet.
The quick energy.
The very fast, quick energy that also produces those large crashes. We train our body to pull that as fuel and as an energy source. So the ketogenic lifestyle has been around for centuries actually, and it was designed for children with epilepsy. And the doctors found out that changing the body's function and pulling the fat for energy actually helped the brain. So it helped with cognitive abilities. And in these children with epilepsy, it was actually reversing epileptic symptoms. So seizures were becoming less and less, in some patients none. The brain stem cells were actually reversing, and it was restoring the brain. It's proven to work on illnesses such as brain trauma, postpartum depressions, post-traumatic stress disorder. There's just so much benefit, health benefits. And when we look at a baby, that's the kind of fats that they need in their body and their brain. And then when we look at someone with an illness, that's the kind of fat. So they put 2 and 2 together and realized, hey, this is how our bodies should be working. So that's the approach that we took. And this didn't come, overnight. This isn't something I saw on Facebook one day and decided this is what my family would do. It took extensive research, many nutritionists, pediatricians. We spoke to an endocrinologist, a pediatric endocrinologist. We really did a lot of research, and we ended up stumbling on that lifestyle and also a product that complements that lifestyle. So Keto OS, it's from a company called Prove It. What it is it's a supplement, and it puts your body into ketosis within an hour. So the ketogenic lifestyle could actually take weeks and sometimes months, depending on your commitment, to get into that state of pulling energy. So the Keto OS products puts you into that state within an hour of using the product. So to us, it was beneficial on every level possible.
So in some way, the company has found a way to make your body assimilate it faster, I suppose.
That's
that is
correct.
the magic.
So everything in these products is natural, and it puts your body into a state of ketosis, which is natural. Your body already produces the enzymes from your liver to put you in that state of ketosis. So all it's doing is kind of magnifying that and getting your body to get into a state of ketosis a little bit faster. So that has been a life-changing thing for us, for our family.
Imagine. And it's soya-free.
It's soy-free.
How? By what chance did they manage to avoid soya, given how much soya there is in everything these days?
It's just very natural. It's there to... Soy isn't necessarily a brain food, right? So it focuses only on the brain foods. I have a box here with some different products that I can show you if you guys are interested. So there's a few different flavors. I can go over the options. There are some that are dairy-free.
So is this a meal replacement, or is
this is a supplement. So this is not a meal
Okay.
replacement. You take this just like any other drink that you would take a glass of water, for example, during your day.
Once a day?
Once a day.
Once a
It's
day.
not dangerous to take twice a day. You can take it
Okay.
as much as you want. We found that once a day was perfect for our daughter. So what we did was we usually made it a shake.
Your daughter
for
being
her.
2 years old?
2 years old, yes.
Because some things are not good for little children, but obviously this is
This has been
quite okay.
approved for our specific health reasons by many different specialists.
Okay.
They have looked into the ingredients and they are very, very content with what it has done. The brain fats, the healthy fats that it supplies for our daughter who can't get them anywhere else because of her limited diet. And it has done absolute wonders for us. And it's funny because we actually jumped on board with this. I wanted to test this out because of the information that I was provided. And I have PCOS and I have endometriosis, and it has leveled out my hormones. It has made me feel like night and day. My brain fog is gone. My energy has just been through the roof. And I had mentioned this to a few other people that I know. One of them in particular stands out to me. For privacy reasons, I won't say her name, but she's dealing with PTSD. And she's had some struggles with weight, with PTSD, her mood, her energy. She found herself kind of lagging and the brain fog. And I had mentioned this to her and mentioned that I stumbled upon this and how well it's done for our family. And she jumped on board with it, and it's been night and day for her as well. So she's regained that energy, the confidence. She's preserving her muscle, because this is also going to preserve that natural muscle you have in your body. She has lost weight with it. It's been night and day for her as well. And it's actually been proven to help with so much brain injuries. It has reversed people with Alzheimer's, dementia. It's helping them regain their brain functions, their cognitive abilities. So as you can imagine, this has been night and day for our family because of the limitations we have with our diet.
And how quickly did this person you were talking about see results?
She saw results the first week. She messaged me saying that her energy has just been night and day, and she can get out of bed and function, and she's happy, and her family, she can go out and enjoy her family and do things that she was really struggling with. By the end of the month, she was seeing a lot more results with her brain fog, her cognitive abilities. She was remembering more. She saw her body changing physically. And by the second month, it was just a complete turnover, and her body is just headed back to where it used to be.
Wow, that's quite an incredible story. To think that out of all of those difficulties and challenges, you actually stumbled. Had it not been for those, you probably wouldn't have looked for this.
That's correct.
And it's not benefited only you, but so many other people.
Yes, there's quite a few families who actually take this with autistic children.
Okay.
And it helps them focus in school. It helps them have better, again, cognitive abilities, and just their general behavior has been night and day. I personally know a family who has their child on this, and she says it's night and day with her son, and the school actually say, listen, his behavior and his ability to sit in class has been something we haven't seen in years.
Well, all I can say is thank God that you found something, because obviously your issues with the children are far from over, and you need all the energy in the world. You've got the right mindset, the right spirit, the right outlook. You've had to dig deep sometimes to find those again, but you haven't given up on your kids, and I think it's safe to say that without what it is you bring to them, your children may not be alive today. And that,
I can definitely say that for sure.
Having seen their smiling faces, I would consider that a terrible, terrible tragedy. Your story is something that hopefully a lot of people will either identify with or know somebody who can benefit from it. This is not the sort of thing that you see in newspapers, and probably not the kind of thing that people would focus on. So I thank you for bringing us for going through for taking that road for us. Because obviously everybody knows someone who can benefit from what you've described with this keto?
It's the ketogenic lifestyle.
Ketogenic lifestyle.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Shannon, this is not the last we're going to talk to you, because hopefully we'll be back in a year or so and find out exactly where all this has led.
I hope in a good direction.
I suspect it will, because you have a way of turning tragedy into good things.
It's them. It's the smiles. It's their happiness. It's knowing that there is worse out there, and I'm fortunate to at least have what I have.
So there we go. That's a good moral for the day. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you so much. And thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you with the next episode.